I'm looking, I'm searching, I'm trying to find it. You feel me? Trying to find the perfect pre-trip, the perfect landing spot. Man, that's the daily battle, the daily fight of a over the road truck driver. So y'all tapped in with the Head of the Game podcast. Without further ado, y'all read the title. Let's get right into it. So, how you can sufficiently trip plan. Now, all this ain't just a disclaimer. It's not always and all the time. I'm just talking in generality. So if you run into these situations and it just so happen to be an anomaly, you feel me? Don't be mad at me. But centering, because everything is gonna be centered around the way you trip plan, right? Whether you get on time, how much sleep you get, if you can get in and get a shower, so on and so forth. If you can find parking, everything has its general time where you want to be at a certain place at a certain time when you're over the road, right? So, for instance, if you're looking for parking, I would advise you don't try to end your day anytime after 8 or 10 p.m. Once you start trailing into that soft window between that 8 and 10, and especially after 11, you would be fortunate to find parking, but for the most part, it's not guaranteed. Because especially if you're going off of the Pilot app, that Flying J Pilot app, it can tell you how much parking, but it's a generalization. Because I've been in certain places, like, okay, yeah, it's 10, 15 spots of parking left, and there ain't nothing left when you pull up. You feel me? It's nothing left. So just be mindful of that. Secondly, if I ran into this problem yesterday, if you're trying to take a shower, either take it early in the morning or late at night. Do not take no midday showers, because for whatever reason, and at least at this specific truck stop, it was about 12 people. It was a 12 people waiting line. You feel me? Now, I know 12 people in certain terms don't seem like a lot, but 12 showers, you feel me? That's not even counting the people that's already in the shower. That's people that's ahead of you that's waiting for the same set of showers that people are already preoccupying. So that took me about 2.5 hours, not only to wait on the shower, to take my own shower, sit up there, get dressed, get my truck prepped up, and was already out on the road, and that cut in a lot of into my 14. You feel me? Just a disclaimer: 14 means 14-hour clock for those that don't know the truck driving terminology and things of that nature. But yeah, if you're looking for parking, yeah, don't do that. If you're looking for a shower, definitely don't do that. And that's why it's paramount to really the sweet spot into making sure everything kind of fits seamlessly. You want to start your day. Now, I'm not sure about other companies if y'all got hard schedules. You feel me? Based off of how my impression of it is that when you start your day, you got a soft schedule, meaning that you can pretty much pick up and put down your day within reason. You feel me? Just as long as you meeting your appointment times, right? So you could drive as far or as short as you want, just as long as you're on time with these loads and stuff like that, right? So I feel like the perfect, and this is just for me being out here 6 months. So any experienced drivers, if y'all want to jump in and add y'all 2 cents, on something I may have left out, y'all more than welcome to. But if you start 6 in the morning, early in the morning, that's going to be the perfect position, because most people ain't up in the morning. I mean, most are, I ain't gonna lie, but that early, probably not. And if you are taking your showers, you feel me, early in the morning, it may be a wait time, maybe not, but you will like your chances instead of midday for whatever reason. And like I said, maybe it might have been an anomaly, but that was bad. I that cut into a lot of my money when I decided to take a midday shower, when typically I take mine as soon as I start my clock after my 10-hour reset or whatever, right? But I stopped at a truck stop that had showers, but because I had shower credit at another truck stop, Pilot, you feel me? I was like, I ain't finna spend the $18 when I can get a shower for free over here. And uh cost over convenience. You feel me? That's the decision that I made yesterday. So just for y'all to be mindful about that. What else What else am I leaving out for regarding trip planning? Okay, yeah. Well, in generality, when you trip plan, you wanna you wanna familiarize yourself, and you're not gonna know all this right off the back of your hand unless you've been running for a long time. All the truck stops, all the landing spots, and then you also want to know how to clock your mileage, right? So, for instance, right, if I have a 420-mile load, right, and my truck is governed at 65 miles an hour. Now, I know I'm giving y'all a calculus problem, but this is all about trip planning. You feel me? You got to know how to do a little bit of calculus, right? So, it's one of those things. If the train is going this fast and it arrives at this place going this far, what time would it be? That's what you got to do when you trip plan. So for the example that I use, 420 miles, right? And this truck goes 65 miles an hour. So I would round that number off to be about 60 miles an hour. There's your answer right there. I'm going 60 miles every hour. So I'll take the 60 number and I'll divide the 420, you feel me? And that's gonna leave me at 7 hours, roughly. Now, knowing that extra 5 miles an hour per every hour is gonna fall under 7 somewhere, right? High 6s. So if you're looking at, because you don't wanna go on Google, you feel me? You wanna go on the truck, use your EDL, use your tablet, because it's gonna clock the truck mileage, you feel me? Because if you go off of Google Maps, you use Google Maps to find the truck stops. You don't tell yourself using Google Maps to see how long it's going to take you to get there. Because if your truck is governed, then you're not going to get there at the time that it's saying that's going to get there. Especially if you're on the interstate and you got to go 70 miles or 75 miles an hour, right? So I know that's a lot of details, but that's how intensive trip planning is. But once you get that down, then everything becomes seamless, because then you're able to look up, okay, well, if I only got, let's use another example, right? Say if you got 880 miles and the truck only can go 65 miles an hour and you only can drive 11 hours within a day, that right there tells you that you're not going to make it there all in one day. So you're going to have to find a truck stop in between the starting point and the end point, and it's just determining if you want to drive as far as you can and find somewhere to land, or if it's getting late, maybe you want to stop prematurely just so that you give yourself a better chance to park. And this is all the thought process of like being over the road and stuff like that. So and you also want to, I said, get supplies, get tools and things of that nature, things that's going just all your essentials as far as like getting water, your toiletries, all your hygienic stuff. Make sure you got your wardrobe and you got your drinks. I got like 64 cases of water, you feel me? Gotta get back in the water game because it's healthy for you. But aside from that, it's all about preparation. Trip planning, if you're a preparer by nature, or if you're not even by nature, but if you can develop those skill sets, it's gonna go a long way regarding trip planning. You feel me? And it's not bad. It's not bad as you think. You feel me? It's just you have to be aware of all the different clocks you balance in, so that way your day is compliant. You feel me? You gotta have a compliant with your times and everything. All the clocks gotta seamlessly harmonize with each other. Feel me? Now I'm gonna just go through a short, brief breakthrough of all the clocks, because you have to be aware of all the clocks in order to be able to trip plan, properly. So first, I'm gonna go from least to greatest. So first clock, 8-hour clock. That means drive time, you only can drive 8 hours, up to 8 hours in one session, right? Drive time. So if you stop and take a 30-minute break, or not even a 30-minute break, but say if you got a drop and hook, you feel me? You probably go on yard duty, and that 30-minute, drop and hook could serve as a alleviation to reset your 8-hour clock. And I'm gonna tell you where that pours into, right? So then you got your 10-hour clock, which is the 10-hour reset. The 10-hour reset is after you complete your day, which is the other clock, which I'm about to mention. You gotta rest or be off duty for 10 hours in order to restart a workday, right? So then you got your 11-hour clock, which is the entire drive time you can have within a workday, right? So if you got your 8-hour clock and you got to do a 30-minute reset in order to extend your 8 hours to be able to get the other side of that 11, then that's what you got to do. So after your 11, then the next clock is the 14-hour clock, and that's your entire day. That's on duty and drive time combined. And then that's why I had mentioned that the 10-hour clock positions you to reset and prepare you for the next 14-hour day that you would have, right? And then the clock that's bigger than that is your 34-hour reset, which resets your entire 70-hour clock, which you only can work 70 hours within 7 days, right? 7 days is all you got. Right now, I know you got the 8-hour rule, and I'll find another video to explain that because I've already explained a lot of math as it is, right? But these are all the clocks you have to sit up there and be conscientious of in order to, like I said, stay compliant with the DOT regulations and making sure that you're doing your trip planning appropriately. Because if you mess up one of these clocks, you're going to sit up there, get a DOT violation. It's going to get sent to your company, and your company going to holler at you like, hey, you're seeing you that you ran over your 8-hour clock. What made you thought you couldn't stop and take a 30? You know, so you got to explain yourself. But, I mean, like I said, it's on the tablet. You can see it, and you can plan your day out ahead so much so that you really won't run into no problems like that. You feel me? But yeah, I mean, those are all the clocks. Now that I've named them least to greatest, now let me show you how to manage these clocks. So all right, start your 10-hour reset. Boom. Now you got your whole 14-hour day. You drive, you seeing where you're going. You sit up there and be like, okay, I'm going to take a 30-minute break here within this 8 hours. Boom. Then that extends to the rest of the 11. And driving 11 hours all together, because you're never probably going to get to 11. You probably get like the closest probably like 10 and a half. You feel me? Because that's really cutting it close. Then you got your own duty time that's going to push you over that 10 and a half hours. You might sit somewhere between like 11 hours and 13 hours, depending on, you know, dropping and hooking or pre-tripping and, you know, fueling up. All that adds up, right? So that's how you trip plan appropriately, right? That's how you trip plan appropriately. And now you got to sit up there and not only be compliant with the clocks, then you have to seamlessly understand what times of the day you can do certain things. Okay, if I want to get some lunch at this time. If I want to fuel up, let me fuel up over here, because it ain't locking up. You feel me? And the biggest advantage, especially if you with a company that you know, gives you Flying J points and stuff like that, and you download the Flying J app, you can literally look 200, 400, 500 miles away at certain truck stops, and it lets you know how many truck stop spots are available, right? But you just want to take that with a grain of salt, because that could change up obviously over time. By the time you get there, that number could change. But that's all I got for y'all, man. So this is, you know, maybe I might do a part 2 for like the over the road trip planning thing regarding like, you know, finding parking spots and things of that nature. But with that being said, comment, like, subscribe, y'all. Drop the comments below. With that being said, thanks for watching the video. More videos on the way. I'm gone.